So it worked out in your favor.
I was more from that lens also that okay, that's where I was more looking at a chartered accountant where I would actually do a merger and amalgamation. Our profession was on the similar kind of field was the icebreaker.
So his exposure and your exposure and expertise has helped you all like build your firm.
We have taken a thing that yes, we are ready. So now we have our two places where we are located. Look, in my practice, I make sure that when I hire people, I keep a 50-50 ratio.
So the primary goal was to give them awareness and opportunities available with other similar body like.
Because this automation is something best for our industry.
If you go beyond those numbers or even those compliance data, that is where you will get to know that what is this client potential into it.
Hello everyone and welcome to Coffee with CA with me, your host Sheena Parvani. Today on this episode, we have not just one chartered accountant, but two. So these two chartered accountants, they are partners in real life and partners at their firm too. So let's get started and deep dive into the journey of CA Varun Nirmal and CA Kashmira Nirmal. And let's learn all about how they met and also how they run their firm. Let's get started. Hello, ma'am, and hello, sir. Welcome to the show, Coffee with CA, and we're really happy to have you here. This is a special episode because this is the first time we're actually interviewing two people, a couple, and both of you all happen to be CA, so this is really going to be a fun show. So first things first, how did two CAs end up with each other?
So thank you, Gina, first of all, for inviting us to Zoho. Your first, the thing that how we met. So basically, I happened to do my articleship under a CA firm, and when I just moved out from that firm and then started working in another CA firm. So that's when Varun had joined that firm for some office, like after completing CA. So when we met to Jeevan Sarthi. So when the profile came to me,
we met on the cloud.
Yeah. So when the profile came, I was like, how he has been there and I have not met. So the fact, talks were that.
As she mentioned, right, that she had curiosity about who is this whom I don't know about it, and where she had, because she was the senior most article, right, in that firm. And when I joined her, and she was moving out, or she would have moved out, and we were in another division also. But and I also had who is this whom I don't know. So we both had this something like so that curiosity led us to talk more about that, and obviously because we were bringing on the same profession, right? We were from the same profession. We were actually talking about profession, careers, and other stuff, and then hobbies and all other were in like a kind of a sideline, or I would say more of a off the balance sheet items kind of. Our profession was on the similar kind of field was the icebreaker. Hobbies came in, and I always, actually, honestly, I wanted always a partnership which was more with the CA. When I was looking out, I was more from that lens also that okay, that's where I was more looking at a chartered accountant where I would actually do a merger and amalgamation.
I can talk that more. I think
it's always easier, right, when you have someone in
from
the same
profession.
Yes.
Because understanding your timings and also especially tax audit season.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I actually didn't wanted to have. I did not have, he was very clear that he wanted a chartered accountant as the partner, but I was because in my family also, if you see, my siblings have done engineering, and that's why after 11th, 12th of science, I was pushed that you diversify and go for some other professional. So that now, if you have to do taxes, the family fully depends on me. So I also thought I'll have one more. We have an option to have a diversification and go for some other profession. But then this is what I would say that was fate. As for CA also, it was not something I planned. I did not know about the chartered accountancy at all or the commerce background, because I don't have anybody in my family who is from the commerce or the business background. So it's somehow that there was a link and then it just went through. Same with Destiny, we also belong to the same profession, but it has come a lot more beneficial for me, because whenever I have changed cities, this profession really helps.
you told me your story about how you started off because your sisters didn't want y'all to.
Yeah, my siblings wanted because they were, one was architect, one was engineer, and
Yeah.
so he said, now we don't want to have the same profession, just go for something else. And because they know that I liked biology, but not to that extent. But physics and math was something which I used to like enjoy thoroughly. So then my siblings said, oh, that CA is something which will match to what your interest is.
That's nice. How about you? What got you into CA?
Okay, so as far it's an interesting story, I would say so. I also come from a business family, but when I see I used to go to the shop right from grade 4 and 5 when I was in grade 4, 5, right? And I was preparing some of these when my father was saying that, okay, you prepare a bill or something like that, or what he obviously taught me about it. So I was prepared. And then at the end of the day, I was actually counting how much cash was there. Just and I was going because it was a family business, so my uncle was also there. So he used to come and then said, okay, count how many. And so that numbers, I was always flowing through the vein, right? So that was there. But
so you had your exposure at like age
early age only. So commerce, and I was very like terrible in science. I don't know any concepts about that one. I was not knowing and not interested or so. Only thing which I was knowing about little bit numbers, and that is where even though in 10th I scored relatively good at that particular during those times of 90s, right? I scored relatively good, but I still ended up. I said that I want to take commerce, and in commerce I actually the subject which I liked was mostly on the accounting side, where there was a DC NAM at that time. Obviously, after becoming CA also, I started off with a firm where I joined and where she was doing artificial, and they were doing something related to US. Okay. It was way back in 2001. This was in July 2001 because I remember.
And this is a firm in Ahmedabad.
Ahmedabad. So I started off there as saying that US, we are doing something on the US accounting outsourcing. So I said I'm okay. I want to join this one. I said it's not a traditional tax or audit.
Yeah, nothing we have in the CA course about it.
But this is all. So I said few of my seniors, and they said that you are actually taking the risk because we don't know if it pans out. It's okay, but I have like kind of as I said, I'm lucky to be a trailblazer wherein I found something new, which probably becomes a trendsetter afterwards. So I consider myself that lucky in terms of that as well, that I found a new line, and I was actually motivated to move into new line. So that is. But within CA also, after that I started, and that motivated me to take a CPA.
Oh, okay. So did you work in the US or you continued over here?
I have worked in the US, but now in 2010 to 12, I have worked in the US for a couple.
So now you'll have a firm of your own, and how do you all run it? So was that your initial plan, like all this while, to have a firm?
Yeah, so our plan was to have a firm, as I said, a partnership firm, right from when I started exploring my partner as my life partner as well.
Yeah.
But we started off, our firm started off in 2008, but officially we actually started, until that time, it was there in it, but I would say expansion started after 2017. Once the GST and all got launched, we actually started getting more and more, many of the startup boom started in 16, 17 onwards. Startup was there, but they were all like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million Series A and all. Yeah. They were all more towards, it was not in a valuation rush.
Yeah.
Or so that, when that happened, many of the US companies, all the startups, venture capitalists and all, they started forming companies in the US.
Correct.
So they said that, okay, you have to, so that is where our US thing came in. And that's where most of these startups which she takes care of India, we are actually taking care of. Take care of the US, and then they are gradually expanding to other countries. So that's an
he did practice, I think, so when we were in Ahmedabad also back, and I was working for a company KPO over there. Yeah. So we were having the same work thing, as you can see, the domain, but he was having his own practice, and I still was a new because I did my initial internal audit and I worked as a finance manager in a group of company over there. So I was still not very sure about the practice. As I said, my background is not foreign or commerce. So I was still hesitant about that whether, because if you don't have network, I don't think so practice can be so successful. So he wanted to take that risk. So I was working for a KPU because for me that part was different, the wealth management in the US.
So his exposure and your exposure and expertise in science as well has helped you all like build your firm.
Yeah, build
Yes.
now
So now we have
actually
taken a thing that yes, we are ready. So now we have our
yeah.
two places where we are located, and we are not a typically CA firm where we'll have like everything in Bangalore. So we have some person for working for us in Lucknow because as he started in 2000, he was working from India for a US company. So he was very okay with it. Like we don't wanted anybody to sit in front of us from 9 to 5. So that mentality was open. So and then luckily when it was in 2015 onwards, you can say in India also we had cloud softwares working for a company. And I also had to take a break in 2018. I delivered my second child. So that time also I also was not able to have a fixed office where I am there. Yeah. But of course the work can be done managed. So it was not something difficult to do it, but working from home. So we were always having that space given to our employees. So now we also work from like couple of, like we have an office in Ahmedabad, we have an office in Bangalore, we have some people working from some other parts which will be like 1 or 2, but we are fine with it because at end of the day,
I would say we are a tech-enabled remote firm.
When the clients are trusting us from Dubai and then we are working here, the same way applies for our
actually,
team
so last week when I visited Dubai, we are actually going to hire one person in Dubai, but then there would be a couple of more people who would be in here as well. Yes. So we, as said, we are actually now in a way wherein like tech, we call it like 0 to 1 and 1 to 10, right? Yeah. So 0 to 1 journey we have already covered. We have found our product market fit. Now we are actually scaling it up to 1 to 10. And now it's the stage. Obviously, our main growth levers and all started after 2017.
You're my early adopters of cloud, right? Given that you just mentioned that you all had, offices, and right now you all have people in Lucknow, eventually in Dubai also. So what is your take on cloud and where is it going?
I think cloud is right now everywhere. In fact, among all the businesses, and if I look at from a chartered accountant, right, perspective, as a profession perspective, who are our clients? Businesses, small and medium enterprises are our clients. So maybe large enterprises as well. But those SMEs and large enterprises, they are using cloud a massive way. Businesses, if I see during our articleship days, how the businesses were running and now how they are actually running after 2 decades, right? We are seeing a massive shift. 2 decades back, we did not imagine that businesses, actually a small business either in T Nagar or in Ahmedabad, Kalupur market, nobody would be selling on Flipkart or on Amazon and all. They have fundamentally changed the way businesses is being done on the sales side. Similarly, fintechs are coming. We are seeing so many. We are actually come across so many. Every cafe shop, they are actually doing startups, doing something like, okay, we want to do some lending, fintech, and other stuff on top of traditional banking. So banking also has changed, and they are doing some neo banking. Apps have come in. Yeah. So those businesses are adopting in that way. The source documents are also changed. Correct. The way vouching which we were doing during those days, where the sales invoices and other stuff, now it is all coming from different cloud, right? Or different sources which are laying, and then when it comes in, it has to be entered into application. There is a reconciliation, there is an order, then the shipped payment. So all this reconciliation payment may be via different mode. So businesses have adopted it because that is what is leading them to grow their business. Correct. But as a chartered accountant, as a firm, right, it is actually impacting us as well, because if we are not adopting it, we are actually lagging behind. We as a CA firm also, we have to adopt it, because first acknowledge that, okay, this has massively impacted us. Now we use some of these tools. Luckily during COVID has amplified it. I put it like COVID has just amplified that and made that message loud and clear that you probably have to use these tools forcefully. Indians are mostly like, once it is enforced, then that you get the benefit out of it, right? Yeah, sometimes we don't know the benefit of cloud, but people started deriving the benefit of cloud post COVID.
Yeah, I remember my colleagues who were saying that like COVID has like because the business were working and few of the things were pending on the accountant's plate, but they were not able to do because immediately this emergency had come, and we were able to do it. So then when
it
we
was March month, so
yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
when I
March
discussed with my clients,
2020.
we
Yeah,
did our work in April and May till of course every business had to stop and we did not had that type of any backlog to do. So when I discussed with my peers and then they said, how come you are able to work? Because we already were adopting the cloud. We already were working into this
for us,
work from home thing. So it did not impacted so much. But for them, it was like complete shutdown.
shutdown.
So then they realized that what we were preaching for, couple of years before that, please use the cloud application because I think somewhere they were saying that when they used to discuss that with the clients said we don't want to keep on the cloud our accounts data. But then I said they were not educating them. Sometimes you have to educate your clients that already you're on cloud, already your banks are on cloud, your data about banks are on the cloud, your IT portal is there, your MCA has all the records of your directorship and everything. So you're already have adopted through other agencies. It's just the accountants have not, accordingly made it such a great effort to push it that, let's have accounts also there. So it becomes very easy. There were some people like, if you see, we are lucky that we are in Bangalore, that the mindset of the clients was really open. But then the push, as you said, because the business change, we have to adopt because we go in parallel with them. So if the source documents are coming that way, soft copy, plus it gives the advantage that you can do it more accurately. So cloud application helped us to do something accurately and fast. So when your efficiency is increasing, why not to adopt it? Definitely. Just by restricting that, no, it is not as per the, historic what we have done or what we have learned. You have to upskill somewhere because the business were open. Why the business now opening, global? Because they know there's an opportunity. There has a demand over there, so why not to keep a supply and they grow. But then as he also started with something which was not a cloud software, but it was an AnyDesk sort of a server where you can log into someone's desk, but it somewhere resonated with the cloud. So when some softwares which came online, even Zoho came online, so we were the very early adapters of it and also the features also because it was very easy. We understood that it helps something which can be done into a month's work with our staff, or in that way I can put a person where I have to keep 3 staff, I can do the same thing with 1 staff. So it gives me economy, like I can reduce my cost. So why not to go for it? And it gives me accuracy. I only hate the people when they say that they use a cloud application to some extent, then they pull the dump and then do it on Excel. I see then that, you are not getting the full benefit of it. Yeah. So learn it in a complete way. If you have something, I have been talking to all the tech companies, softwares where I've worked. If I think there's something which is not in the software, I try to, give that message. Because if the company is actually, if it's an Indian company, developing company, who is serving to the accountant's need, definitely they want to do that remaining 10-20% also in the software so that we adapt it in a complete thing.
I think it's basically the front user, in this case y'all, that actually has to give feedback to companies building software so that otherwise we might not meet our end goal.
People have good technical people, but maybe sometimes that functional thing you might be hiring some accountants, but they are not using it in the field.
That's where
the needs are different sometimes.
Every field is important, right? It's just not like, okay, kirana ka dukaan hai, that you have to like.
In fact, because businesses, we are actually dependent on accounting businesses source document, right? So if there, I would say the playing field has changed and the documents are different in a way. So we also have to, the rules of businesses, I would say rules of the game have slightly changed.
Yeah, slightly major. When I went, it was just as to ask my CS.
It was only 1 tick or something like that. The vouching.
Correct.
Yeah, we used to go ask and bank and cash book. We did not know that we have to ask credit card and then now we have to ask all this receipts what they get from the Flipkart and Amazon. All that we have to see. We have to know the business so well that we know what are the source documents and see how it gets added up to come to know that what is the sales for that week.
But it has given us an opportunity to actually go into the systems as well now.
Correct.
As a system, like when you as chartered accountant, right, that you go into more like now you need to understand the systems, how the processes go, whether how daily dump they are taking or a weekly dump they are taking, or how that reconciliation happens on a T+2 basis. So those things which have, these are the other advisory things which we have to, I would say these are the control things.
So I also understand that y'all have played significant roles in ICI, right, throughout the years. Can you let me know about what your role has been.
Yeah, like last year I was a co-opted member for the Young and Women Entrepreneurship. So YMC basically we wanted to cater the people who like women who take sabbatical leave and they are not coming back to the profession. So we wanted to do majorly something where they don't feel that they've been left and bridge the gap. Where we took the soft skills as well as the core topics, so that they are getting knowledge about whatever specialization they want to go into, and it becomes very easy for them to know that what's going around in the world. So it helps them that they feel more confident that yes, there's nothing that they cannot now start again. So that was a key motive over there, and the very, like I would say, it was historic for me that we had the first Women C Awards that was conducted in December 23, and it was in National Stock Exchange. So where the president also gave the space that each and every council member was present there, and we gave the awards to the whoever was shortlisted. Initially they said only 8% women Cs are there in 2000, and now it is like we have got to 30%, and when passing ratio we say it is 50%, but still like at the leadership post we think it is not there. But then this type of things which we start specifically to see that we upskill them and make them feel more confident with the soft skills or whatever the market has changed, it will give them little boost that they would try to match up. And now it is like 50% when it comes to when they are passing through, and if they continue, look, I in my practice I make sure that when I hire people I keep a 50-50 ratio, so that at least they get a fair chance. And if everybody do that little bit, I think so they'll be able to match it. And once they are there, they are working, definitely they'll be able to do it. You give this flexibility of, when I am working, I also took breaks for whenever I had my kids. So I was able to work it because the profession is like that. But yes, you do feel little that underconfident when you think that, okay, we have missed out that 2 years or something. Or you have to, somewhere do a compromise when you maybe not enjoy that phase of your life, which I said that in my case, I didn't have to do that. I was lucky, of course, that I had mentors here at home. So if I want to touch base on something, I can anytime call on him. But then this type of seminars, which is there online,
it'll
which
help
is like,
other people, like who don't have someone as close.
Yeah. So it is very easy. You take it from your home. So 2 hours, of course, you can take out, and they are continuously this year also. They are continuing with all the sessions. And people are ready. All the women speakers who have gone to very good positions, we had IS officers also, and they share their journey. So it was really inspiring, like to know that people from so much different backgrounds, they have tried to maintain in the profession. Some people who have taken, but then for a valid reason, and were able to come back. So everybody was trying to inspire in their own ways, and that last year was very good for me to know, that how people are trying to do it. It would be difficult for them, but then of course they struggled it. They did it little in a hard way, but then they still continued it. So that gives somewhere in your own life that we should not give up if that type of situation comes. So it was good. Of course, whenever you hire, see to it that you hire an equal ratio. See to it that if they fall back sometime or they want this type of leave, give them that flexibility that they can work from home. They can, even if their families are shifting to other place. I have gone through it. So I would say that yes, you can work from that other place. So you don't have to discontinue the connection that you have, the work relation that right now you can have, because the person can still serve to you from any remote place also to you.
You also played a very important, significant role in ICI, right? Can you let me know about that?
Yeah. So over with ICI, I have been associated with multiple years, but last year I was part of the committee on the international affairs. The primary objective was to how we can collaborate with the other institutes. Right? With, as you said, right, over the last decade, cloud and other technology tools have come in. Now, where with that particular tools being used by most of these accounting firms or our accounting firms, right, peers, how we can give a platform where they can showcase or network with the other or network or source also from other countries as well. So the primary goal was to give them awareness and opportunities available with other similar body, like maybe an Institute of Chartered Accountants of Ireland or UK and Singapore, Australia.
So IFRS mainly, completely into IFRS.
I would say mostly with all other associations. Like Institute of Chartered Accountant is an apex body, so there might be other apex body of other countries. How to collaborate with them so that when our members can actually just take the course from there also if they want to, and then start practicing or sourcing clients from. That is one. And with that intent and background in mind, I actually did many of these global networking events. World Congress was one. GloPac was the last year was there. So wherein most of like the objective was not only like it's a pan India event, it's a global event where people from other countries can also participate, and we had like a networking hub where you can interact with other countries, maybe from Africa also, Europe, and even from the US as well. US is actually most because US is where primary business people are looking at it, but there are other countries. I see world is more like there are other countries in the world as well. Australia, in fact, Australia is also bigger. So you actually, uh, from an ICA perspective, we were more looking at to how members can collaborate with the other or network with the other peers of the other geography, and also if they want to actually practice there or shift there as a base also, what are the opportunities available in terms of from a career perspective to take those courses and collaboration, so that if they are already a chartered accountant of India, but if they take only 3 subjects of that, then they will become ACCA and other stuff. So that's similar. So that was, I think, we were mostly doing. An institute is real. I mean, institute is aware of the fact that future of accounting is global. So we actually need to collaborate with the global peers as well.
That's nice. Coming to the trending topic, AI, right? What are your thoughts, and where is this profession going when AI is concerned? And how can AI help a chartered accountant?
I think, see, as far as trend, if I have to put it in AI in the history of mankind, I always say this one. I repeat it again because repetition doesn't ruin a prayer. I have told it in other forum that in the history of mankind there are 3 big innovations which I feel has happened. One is electricity, which is way back, like maybe a couple of centuries or so, or maybe 150 years back. Then internet, and third is AI. AI is fundamentally transforming how the business is actually. It's right now is happening, and just we are seeing the beginning of it.
Correct.
We have not even reached the peak, or I would say peak in the sense we're just right now seeing what AI capability are, because there are many use cases which they are actually, as in more and more data and use cases comes, AI will start uh, playing a major role. Right now we are more dealing with the accuracy, how much accuracy it can do it, but definitely what we see is that basic accuracy is right, or maybe more than 95% accuracy is there.
Because this automation is something best for our industry, because we do so many of things which is a repetitive thing. So that takes care of your part. You can do with a small number of group staff the same work which you used to do before. You don't have to travel, because imagine like in being in Bangalore or Chennai, where if you send your person to a client's office, small cities can afford to do that because it will just half an hour, they go, come and go. But in our cities,
it's like a whole day which goes.
So the time a chartered accountant should spend with the client is like so minimal. So better you have something which you can do remotely and use that qualitative time into the work that you are supposed to do it. And this type of cloud application, even the AI is what we are using for the automation, that is something is going to help us to do something which is, I mean, saying clerical or something which is not required much of the analysis part. And analysis you can do better, because then you are free for so longer time that you just don't do the compliances. Just don't prepare a report like on 20th just for the GST per se. Do it for the same. Just don't prepare a P&L. Just top of it. Just find out what you can guide your client, that what went different in the last quarter, how you can change. So that is something the client would like it, and then it would have a different.
Client would be interested in your commentary rather than commentary of the financials, rather than just the financials. Okay, this is there, and then percentage wise change. That the applications are doing it. But on top of that,
and we have seen it is a very welcome change for the people. Then even now, if they are buying a car, they will give a call to us that this is what we are planning. How that type of advice we did not expect it initially to a CA that a call will come, because that type of things also they know that some or the other inputs will be able to give. Networking definitely helps.
It's nice. So it's very interesting, and I really had a nice time chatting with both of you. And thank you so much for this conversation. And so we're on to our next segment. So over here on this particular segment, we have a CA that we have interviewed in the past that would have left a question, not knowing who's going to come in next for the next CA, right? So I'll just quickly read out that question. I would like to know your thoughts. So the last time we had San Francisco chapter head CA Arunachalam on this episode, and so he's dropped a question, and yeah, I'll just quickly read it. What is one suggestion you would give to the ICAI to improve gender diversity in their leadership?
To answer that question, I would say that yes, the IC has started step by starting a committee specified for the women and young entrepreneurship. And the step that they have taken last year for appreciating, that the gender, the women CAs who are into the profession for so long. So giving at such a stage when it was on National Stock Exchange building, where all the council members were present, and appreciating that top 7 categories what we had shortlisted. So that itself gives a boost, like, people will look forward to now go to the leadership call post, so that they can also, be showcased there. So that whole journey was that time shared. So the family who had come, I met one of the senior citizen chartered accountant. I just met her husband. He said, "This is the first time I am coming and knowing, what my wife has done, along with whatever she was doing on the personal fund, taking care of my kids, and she was always assisting me for all the awards or whatever achievements I was getting in my profession. And the first time that somebody like you are coming and saying that your wife, and such a good support that you were for her. So that is, I think, so this type of small bits what IC has done in its way to showcase that talent, and whatever journey they have done itself gives a push. And the other part, I would say that whatever the web series, whatever the seminars that they are conducting, that they can do it virtually, because from their home they can sit at home and do the upskilling. So that definitely will bring. And the other industry, as I said, that now all the industries you have seen that the gender equality is coming. Somewhere pay scale is not something in CA that there is a difference, but only thing is when you don't have a restriction that you are not able to send them for it, as this automation is coming. So you can do it virtually from your office. So there is no working condition dependency what back in our time it was there. So all this thing, and when it comes to travel, so people used to say that if we are keeping hiring some CA, if it's a male, maybe I'll be able to send it to Northeast for some client visit, which maybe a female, if I keep in the staff, may not be able to take that meeting, which is now fine, because the girls itself, they are also very confident that they'll be able to, give the true justice to the profession or to the meeting, whatever they are supposed to do. So I think that all little, of course, the women do have to do little extra than what the other gender has to do. We know in all the profession. So same way, if that part is taken care of by the women's CAs, along with, as I see, I think the few things like appreciating, giving them such a big platform where they can be awarded the awards in various categories. Even for the social media also there was a award, as well as for the lifetime also there was an award, and the journeys were shared. So all these things is definitely going to boost. As I would say, when the parent sides, like the family, when initially they are not restricting their girls from taking this type of profession, because now they know that there is a flexibility, which is going to help in the longer course. So for that, earlier it was like, if you become a doctor, even after marriage, you will be allowed to do it, because that profession has that respect that, they will not say that you sit back. Same way, I think, so the CA has come now, that if your daughter-in-law is a chartered accountant, they will not ask you to step back, but rather than continue your profession. Maybe you have to take a little bit here or there break, which is on your choice that you take a break. So all these steps, I think the society, the family support what you get, plus the ICA as a government body, like the institution, that they are helping, that even if you take a break, to upskill you, to recognize you by giving the such awards, is going to actually help to bring the gender equity as a big part on the like the practice people. Like if the firms also start like that, they give an equal opportunity when they hire them, will bring actually the remaining part what is missing. that we consider them equal, we pay them equal, so then they don't feel that, why for the small amount we should go and work rather than take care of whatever personal things we are supposed to do. I think so this overall, when it comes all to summing up, will bring it in the next, I think so, couple of years. With the technology, we would be as equal to, like, so there will be nothing as a male C or a female C.
That's nice. So thank you so much for that. And if you could drop in your question for the next CA without revealing it, we'll reveal it in the next episode. It'll be of great help.
Okay.
Something for the no, for your own, you can do the honors. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. This will be revealed in the next episode. And on to our next segment. So this particular segment, I'll be using my phone. So pardon me for that. It's called Beyond the Balance Sheets. I believe every person has a fun personality, and I want to bring that essence out. So just going to ask you very fun questions. So there's, you can lay back and just like answer it very at ease. So my first question would be, if you could and also, here's a twist. So the person who answers the best will get a gift hamper from us.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a competition between both of you. So now, if you could have dinner with any famous accountant or financial expert, past or present, who would it be and why?
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
I have the reason for that is the sheer amount of I am not very good on financial marketer side. I mean, obviously that's the area which I want to learn, and I whenever there is a learning thing, right, that is where I can go to an X distance also. So that is, I would say, the reason for that is purely learning about how the financial markets work, especially in the US. That's what probably my work.
And I would say I recently, because of the awards time, I met the CEO of National Stock Exchange. So I think so if I get a chance, I would definitely, because they are coming up into the gift city also, I would like to have a dinner with him so that I know how it is going to shape up, and that will help me to guide my clients and also help in my personal way to invest, because we are helping our clients to grow more financially. It will help us to grow our personal finance also and wealth. Definitely. So I would like to have a dinner with him then.
That's nice. Like, being a CA involves a lot more than just accounting skills. What are the unexpected skills that you feel you've developed over the years?
Marketing for me, I can say, because initially when I started my even CA, I thought I will always work for industry. I will not be working for a practice, because in practice you do require little of the marketing skills. If you have a background of, like he has a background of business, then maybe that comes little easy, but otherwise it's very difficult for the networking and communication part of it. But it so happened that in my journey, when I started consulting some of the tech companies and going to the accountant, initially I did not know that I was developing my marketing skills over there, and which eventually helped in my practice. And I realized that I like to talk to people. Now even the audiences are changing. I would say that time I was meeting accountants for the explaining them the software. Then it happened that I started teaching some of the people for the CA, so that was more of the finance and accounting book thing, but in a more practical way. And now I'm like a faculty for CA for a course which is outsourcing, and there my students' audience are like a chartered accountant. So like I think the audiences have changed, but the part that I talk to them, I meet them, I know more. So it's not just that I'm giving the knowledge. Many times I'm learning from there. When I even was there for the committee, I met so many other CAs like who were sharing their journeys, which helped me somewhere reflect on my side that, where I was privileged and where is something that, I did little extra than what other people did not dare to do that. So I think so this type of communication and advising is something which I think I've added now, which is helpful in my practice.
That's nice. How about you, sir?
See, like over a period of time, right? So client comes to us for either tax planning, accounting and reporting, or compliances and other stuff, right? Auditing, compliances. The auditing is not my forte anyway, but these three aspects were. But more than that, over a period of time, where I have what I have, I think, which probably I have gained skill is or unexpected thing about is actually client empathy. We call it customer empathy also, or know your customer. Right? So I'm more interested in their thought process, why they are doing this, for why, what is the rationale for doing this particular business, and what are they expecting out of it, and knowing their own persona as well, right? So that I think that is what I have over a period of time gained.
I would say technology also, because now if I see from that angle, for any new technology which is there, I would say if you go to him, he would be knowing it. It would be like a visa also.
Oh,
or by
but
any
that
other
actually,
application.
technology
knows
is
it.
an outcome of that particular thing, because when I get to know more about, when you go more deep into, rather than
Correct.
purely transactional thing, if you go more deep into their own domain thing, then that is where technology is actually the skill set which has come as a byproduct. But the main core, or you can put it like the approach of that, like getting the empathy, what are they knowing in and out, like 4 quadrants of that client thing, right? That is what we are more in favor. And in fact, institute or some, I read that they have actually come out with like know your client, KYC, like say, that is also guidelines which has come in. And so in that, there may be, for us, know your client is a customer master, but it is not the customer master, is their PAN number, GST and other stuff, or ROC number. But what they do, because that is where, if you go beyond those numbers or even those compliance data, that is where you will get to know that what is this client potential into it.
That's nice. Thank you so much for this. So it's been a difficult decision to like wonder who is going to get like a hamper. So, but nevertheless, it's going to the same house. So this is a small token of appreciation for both of you all. And
thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you
so much. And it was wonderful talking to both of you all and having you all on this show. Thank you
Pleasure
once
is
again.
ours.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Nice
much.
meeting you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.